What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Red Beard's Garage. And our 10-year meetup was a huge success. We had a great time. It was the most riding I think we've done at a meetup because we was there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday instead of just, riding half the day Friday and then Saturday. But it was a blast. We had a lot of people, so thank you everybody that came out, all the companies that supported us. Small Engine Warehouse was there. We had Andy from Beckwith Performance there. He does a lot of V-twin builds. You guys had asked me if I'll build a 670 for you. No, I won't, but Andy will. And he can dyno test them and everything. Great guy. You can contact him. We'll have his information in the video's description, as well as Small Engine Warehouse. And then we had a bunch of familiar faces. We've seen at almost every meetup. There's been guys that's been coming. I mean, they've came to more than they've missed. So we really appreciate everybody supporting us. And also a big shout out to Harbor Freight for sending a bunch of parts. EC Carburetors, Small Engine Warehouse. Who else do we have? Beckwith Performance gave away a set of ported head, like a port job blaster. We gave away a bunch of kits of chemicals. We gave away a big shout out to Red Beard's Garage for their giveaway products. I gave away some of my own personal tools. When we start running out, I don't want people left out. I want to give them more opportunities. So I started giving away my own tool sets. So now we're a little low on our tool sets, but it was a huge success. Am I forgetting anybody?
I was just going to say we have some leftover 10th anniversary t-shirts on the website.
Yeah, we have a few 10th anniversary t-shirts. We won't be printing any more of those after they're sold out. So you can check on the website, and they say they're like a NASCAR logo, and they say 10th anniversary. So again, when those are sold, we won't make them again. We'll make something different at a different anniversary, maybe 15 or something, if we're still alive. So that all being said, we damaged a lot of vehicles because we was there so long, and we abuse, especially these mini bikes. They go through the ringer, especially with big boy on it. I stretch those chains. So this is Lonnie's MB200. This gas tank you guys seen in the prep video, this engine had water in it, and the gas tank was full of rust. And this is trash. We're going to take this off today, throw it out in the boneyard because it's absolute garbage. I don't like how it mounts. It mounts in a real dumb way, so you cannot get it. I mean, you can, but it shakes around. I'm just tired of it. I'm going to go with a Harley-Davidson peanut tank that's made in America because they're very high-quality steel. Unfortunately, they're like $200, but I guarantee it'll be the last gas tank we run on it. We're also going to throw away this exhaust. I'm going to build a completely new exhaust because this is a pretty ratty header, and I don't like how I did it because I just migged it and threw it together. So we're going to take that off today. So the damages we did, we was leaking a little bit of gas. That wasn't a big issue, but somehow I bent the sprocket, and I have absolutely no idea how I did it because we was riding on gravel back to the camp, and the chain just literally falls off. And they were saying at the meetup they could tell it was bent.
I feel like you can see it.
Possibly. So I have ordered a new sprocket, but I'm wondering if the wheel is bent as well. And then another thing, so that's why the chain's not on it. This engine felt like it was a little hurt. It didn't make the power that it quite felt like it used to. So this is my 224 engine. It ended up on Lonnie's mini bike. This thing reeks of gas, by the way, because of this tank. So we want to get that off first because it stinks. And I'm not even going to keep, it's almost full of gas, but it's full of rust too. So unfortunately, I'm going to throw the gas on an anthill outside. I got a couple of been eyeballing for a few weeks. Another thing so the engine felt hurt a little bit, like it was making maybe 20% less power. Lonnie could tell as well. Another thing that kept happening was this exhaust kept coming loose. We even double nutted it at one time. Big shout out to the guy that gave us some extra nuts because we had none. But it kept coming loose. We had to tighten it like 3 or 4 times. The engine has some vibrations in it, so we think maybe a rod bearings fell in or something. So we don't know. So I need to order rod bearings. We need to order new rod bolts. And we might be putting a new set of piston rings. I don't know. It just depends on what everything looks like. So we're going to pull the gas tank off, get the exhaust, and pull this engine off. And then we can set the bike because we are replacing the fenders. This thing's been dry rotting forever. I mean, they're just snapping apart. So we're ordering a brand new set of fenders. And getting those replaced.
Just tear it up real good.
Tear it up real nice. All right, so gas tank first. So I don't know if these videos get boring doing the prep after meetups and rides and races and stuff, but it's very important that you keep these Chinese bikes tuned up. One big mistake I made was I did not put new chain on my bikes. I just left what was on it and oiled them. And that was a mistake because, again, I'm a lot of weight. I mean, let's face it, I ain't getting any younger or smaller. So I stretch chains pretty hardcore. About about by the second day, my chains needs tension. Lonnie's does good all week, but mine takes a beating. So one big thing we always should do from now on is chain. Put brand new fresh chain on. We lost all of the rear brakes on this bike, and we had good rear brakes, but they was probably half wore. I would say almost, if you're doing 3 days of riding off-road, probably change the brake pads when you get home. They're very cheap. You can get them on Amazon for $10 or linked in the video description. Also, service your CVT, pull it apart, look at how the bell's wearing. If you're starting to get grooves in it, go ahead and replace this. Start looking at the pucks on your rear pulley. This got hit by the chain quite a bit, but overall it's still in pretty good shape. Our belt, these are the same belts we ran all weekend with hours and hours and probably 100 or more miles on them. But they're stretched now and starting to come apart. But that just shows you with the right gearing ratio and the right horsepower and stuff, these CVT belts will last a very long time. So we're going to get that pulled off as well. Gas tank is reeking though, so we're going to finish it. I am going to keep that petcock because I just put it in before we left. Okay. Nothing came out. All right, now let's crack that oil and look how bad it looks. Remember, this had water in it, and I did flush it out quite a bit. I'll go on the other side.
I thought you were taking the gas tank off.
Yep. Good eye, Becca, good eye. Oh, it's got a lot of gas in it. It's plumb full.
Oh, geez, look at the butt on that. He must work out.
Good. I know it's going to be burnt pretty good because, and that's a big thing, change your oil when you get home. Oh yeah, she is blacker than midnight. I'm going to pull this fuel plug to let it breathe. There we go. Yeah, so that was, I mean, it still feels decent. Smells a little bit like gas, not horribly. The biggest concern was this bike was vibrating so bad. This always ran really smooth, and Lonnie was like, man, this thing's vibrating my arms off. I'd like to find out why that's happening. We are still running the 24 mil Mikuni, my absolute favorite carb. I think I'm going to switch over on my 240 on my bike to this carb. We have these linked as well. All the parts that we use, I'll try to break them down by the bike, you know, by what engine's on what bike, and then the parts for the bike is pretty much the same, so we'll break it down in the comment section. You can see how I tried to get that gas tank to stop rattling. I put a thick rubber silicone hose around it. It's made for a wide neck tube, and this one's not wide enough. I even welded this back in the day. It used to sleeve onto it. These should have been a little bit longer, but I'm just done with that style gas tank altogether. The Mikuni or the Harley tanks I'm going to be using, they have a bolt flange here and here which locks them in. This one's supposed to hook in, the one that was on this hooks in and then bolts in the rear, but again, it just has so much play in it, it's a nightmare to try to manage. What's behind the horrible? I mean, that's what you're protecting your engine from. 15/16 on the rear. This pulley won't pull all the way off, this rear pulley, but the front one will. One thing you're going to want to feel is if there's grooves from the CVT belt. This one feels great, still in great shape. I have good luck out of these. So this is a 10 mil Allen. Not bad at all. Yeah, everything feels good. There's no grooves. I mean, there's a shiny part, but that one's starting to get a little groove. But not bad. But we definitely want to clean this dirt out, clean all this up. This is in really good shape, honestly. We do keep a spare pulley when we're out there because we don't want, you know, for a pulley to fail and ruin our weekend of riding. We'll get this fully cleaned, then we'll spray it with dry graphite lube. That's what we do to every one of them. We can set this aside. So that's what you're feeling, is if there's grooves in this from the belt riding up and down it. So you can see where this belt's starting to come apart. It's still actually in good shape. We can keep this as a spare. These belts are so cheap. I mean, I'll keep it, but no. I'm just gonna put this pulley back on because it still looks good. Again, we're looking for cracks. Okay, there's a crack in this puck. Let me get the flashlight. You can see it starting to crack. Can you tell that?
Oh yeah, on the black thing.
Yeah. So this puck right here is starting to crack. Now mine was cracked. Look at the pulley where the chain kicked and ate it up. So we will be replacing this, but we got to pull the pegs because you can't slide this all the way off. But this thing's took a beating. So this will be trash. They're not worth rebuilding. You can rebuild them, but it's not worth your time. Exhaust is next. It's going to be easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. The reason I'm throwing this away, I just kind of cobbled this thing together. It's getting pretty rusty behind this because it wasn't stainless or anything. And I made the muffler weld on, which I wish I wouldn't have did that. So there's nothing wrong with this, but I feel like it's time for a freshen up and make it fit properly. Where it's eating into it. Look, it melted the entire fender. Which is fine because these fenders, they're dry rotted and coming off anyways. Okay, so Lonnie's bike's gonna be stripped down to nothing by the time we park it outside, and then it's gonna wait for the new parts to come in. So we got the fuel lines disconnected. So we got the bolts underneath. Then we can drop this hog. Yeah, we need to unhook our keel, which I'm just gonna break this and redo it.
Jeepers, mister, you're really strong.
Okay. I like the foam the best, and we can clean this with foam air filter cleaner and then grease it or oil it and put it back into the into a bag waiting on this engine to go back on it. Be a good time to also re-clean this. We did right before we left, but you guys saw the amount of rust in it. It's pretty bad. I wonder if there's any rust sitting in the bottom of this. So these are looking pretty dingy. So I'm gonna pull all these, the vent hoses. What I'm wanting to do is check the valve flash. That wouldn't be causing vibrations, but. And then I have a check valve. This only lets air go one way. So I have this center venting out. These two are venting to this to help circulate the pressure in the block and do a little bit better oiling to the valve train. But then I put a check valve because we'll talk about this in depth on the video, but it keeps it from sucking air back in that it can't get rid of, basically. And again, we'll break that down in a video. I definitely want one of these check valves. We used to sell them, but I mean, they sold all right, but we have links for them in the video description. Next, we're going to check the valve lash just to see where it was setting at. And I normally use stainless bolts and everything, and I must not have the length of these because these are standard steel. So we'll be ordering the stainless ones because they get mud packed in them. You can see these are perfectly clean on the side of the engine, and these are not. Let it build up. Ooh, forgot what we had in there. Got the ultra light gauge rockers. Gosh dang, she got good compression. I mean, it's I set my valve lash at 3 thousandths. It's a little heavy, but she fired up good. Let's try 4. 4 fits. Let's try 9. Let's go all the way to 9. No. Okay.
Got over ambitious with that one.
Let's try 5. 5 fits. Okay, let's try I took these apart a long time ago. What's this one? 6 fits. Okay, let's just face it, they need adjusting. We have to remember on this head, since it's milled, we have a spacer in there. And that plug, it's got water on it, but it's a little rich. It could be leaned up, but I'd rather have a rich engine than a lean engine. Do I wait until I have rod bearings?
Yes, because then you're gonna have parts everywhere.
That's it. Well, wait, no. Okay, we're back to stage 1. I'm gonna take this multi-purpose, and that's just gonna help with any moisture left in there. So I'm not going to adjust these out. There's no need because we're going to be pulling this engine apart. But I just was curious. I mean, these was definitely, it was time for these to be adjusted. It fired up good though, every time. So Lonnie's bike is stripped. We're going to pull the fenders off real quick, but other than that, we're going to put it outside. We're going to replace the throttle cable on it, the throttle cable and the whole throttle mechanism. I hate those grips. So replacing those. I do like the brake master cylinders. Is that on there? Yes. I do like them. And we'll do a video on dynoing this, rebuilding it, doing a fresh up, and re-dynoing it. We'll be able to tell by the dyno results how badly hurt the engine is. I don't think it's gonna be that hurt, honestly. I don't know how many hours we have on this hog, but we've got some. We've been up this engine section right here. Before we welded these on, you can see this one's bent back a little bit. And this is what's under the most stress on these Trailmasters. So, and I've welded this one in, unfortunately. But what we need to do is get a brand new one of these and mock off of it and build a replacement that already has these foot pegs, already has these braces, and already has the solid slugs in it. I just have to have a brand new one to start with. I can't use any of mine. Let's feel the...
I feel like you can see it wobbling.
I was checking the bearing in this. I'd say it's time to replace this bearing as well. About every ride we have to. It's unfortunate. These things take a beating, but I'm telling you, we're jumping these things down the trail running like 40, 50 miles an hour. So we're not light on them. All right, so next is going to be my 240 Wildcat. We're about to do the stage 4 on this engine. So we're pulling it off. My bike did pretty good. It needs rear brake pads as well. They're not gone, but they're about 20% left. That's another thing we'll do real quick is slap Lonnie's new brakes on. But my gas tank is okay for now. I'm going to replace it with the peanut tank, but not at this moment because I won't spend $400 on 2 tanks. And everything, I just need to put the rear brake pads on mine and then pull that engine to do the stage 4 dyno, and then it can go back on. So we're going to take lunch, then we're going to pull those freaking brake pads off. You just take out the 2 tins, and then the caliper will come off the bracket. Look how extended those pistons was, which is weird because those pads aren't bad at all, but the pistons are fully extended. Very strange. I would not say those pads are worn out because it does have these slides right here, and if they get caught, that's the issue. And to change the pads, you pull out these 2 Allens and the pads slip out. You slip the new ones on and those Allens pass through it on the top side. They're not horrible, but probably time to change them. But I'm more concerned of why this isn't moving, because these pins inside here and here that mount to this allow this caliper to float back and forth. That is very strange. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out this. I think it's a 4 mil. That boy was tight, like a tiger. And so they're not horrible, but just as I suspected, this pin here was rusted completely in there. So I'm gonna take a wire brush and sand this really good. And this pin right here has this rubber boot on it that was full of rust as well. So when you do a brake job, you need to pull these pins and make sure to clean all the inside. You can see all the chunks falling out of this thing. It's where mud, all those little chunks just fell out of this. So I'll clean this real good with brake cleaner. Then I'm going to put some high temp grease on these pins before sliding them back into the caliper. I'm going to take a wire brush around this one, get all that grime off. So this was just built up grime and rust from years and years of riding. You got to think, we've had this bike here, I'd say for 6-7 years, and it's lasted this long. So there's no need to buy a new caliper. This is where those pins went. There's one. This one's still got the boot on it, so I'm gonna pop this boot off, take a Q-tip, fully clean that out, pack it, not too much grease because you don't want grease coming out and getting on your pads or your rotor, but just put a little, you know, just slick these up, leave a little excess grease on them, then slide that boot back on this one. The boot's left on the caliper from this one, still has a little bit of grease, but we're gonna clean it all up and get it put back together and get these brakes working properly. This makes sense because his brakes has been messing up for a while. They just felt spongy, and that's because it wasn't floating the caliper to get it into position. So something to look at on your MB200 or any bike that you have with disc brakes. So you can see the pitting where this thing's had moisture in it for a long time. We got the MB200, my red one, on the table. This has the Wildcat 240. This thing performed awesome at the meetup. Couple things I want to do. So we're going to do the stage 4 on this engine and dyno it while it's off. So we're going to go ahead and drain the oil and pull this engine. But as far as the bike's concerned, this one does not have front brakes. It has the disc because they used to have that upgraded front fork set up, and it was absolute trash. This bike ran like it handled horribly. I don't know what the deal is with it. We put the stock ones back on it. It's much better. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the chain. I have chain on order, and I have the steel sprocket. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this aluminum one. I just don't trust the aluminum one, even though they've held up really well. I also do not like the sound of this muffler, so I'm going to be ordering a muffler for this as well. And because I've ordered one for Lonnie's, and you can tell this thing worked the bolt loose right here. And so now that's loose and just flopping in there. Oh, and it also broke this tab because these mufflers don't fit as good as they should, and they bolt to the frame, so it puts everything under stress. So I'm gonna have to bend that tab and play with it, but I am gonna put a standard muffler on it. I don't like the way these RLV style mufflers sound. I'm not a huge fan. It's gonna need a new CVT belt, and it's gonna need a new driven pulley. You can see that puck there is about destroyed, and I'm sure several others are. So both bikes are getting new rear pulleys. I'm going to service the front pulley, and that should be it for this bike. I do believe the gas tank's holding up all right for now. It's just a Chinese tank you can get off Amazon. I've got it linked down below, as well as the peanut tank that we're putting on this on eBay, because it's about $40 cheaper on eBay. So I'm going to end up putting the peanut tanks on both of them. These fenders are still in okay shape. This one's starting to fade a little bit, but for now it's all right. I'm going to leave it. Maybe before the next meetup I might swap them out, but yeah, so I'm gonna pull this engine, pull the chain, and then this will go outside with no motor on it for now until we get all of our parts in from Amazon and various other vendors. Chain's not in horrible shape, but it's definitely time. I wouldn't trust this going another ride. belt doesn't look horrible, we'll keep it as a spare. Back in the day when we didn't know about the rubber bushings being in these frames, we went to a race down in Texas. We kept on throwing the chain. You guys know the story. We end up making some solid bushings and we get them made right here in the United States. We actually get them right in our hometown by a local machine shop. And we've had a lot of people buy them and had nothing but good feedback on them. They really stiffen up the frames, and I'll show you, for the people that don't know, where they go and what they also, by not replacing them, what it can also cause, because we had 2 major damages happen to this frame when we was in Texas racing because of those rubber bushings failing. We had too much horsepower and age gets them. So even if you're leaving the bike stock, you're going to eventually either have to replace them with the stock rubber ones or buy our metal ones. You don't have to weld anything. You just cut those old bushings out. You press the new ones in and you can put everything back together. When we put this one back together, we end up welding it all. And I almost wish we didn't do that, because I'll show you a big major damage point that happened in this frame, and I would like to fix it now, and it's a lot of cutting, so I doubt I'll ever fix it. But the next Trailmaster we get, we're going to do a full video on how to make it the ultimate mini bike, because there's some things we left out in the last video. So these rubber bushings are normally in the end of the swing arm. Now I've replaced these with Heim joints. You don't have to do this, but this is the best way, because the Heim joint is going to last a lot longer, have way less friction, and just is a way stronger point. But you can get our bushings to go in the original bushings ends that are on this swing arm, but you don't have to. You can do the Heim joint, but I would replace them whether you do Heim joints or our solid bushings. Now there's a bushing on each side of this, because this used to bolt in. Now we still have the bolt, but everything's welded on ours. So there's a bushing on each side right here and on each side right here, because this engine cradle used to drop out. I guess it's something for manufacturing or something, but you can tell ours is bent. Ours is bent up. So every time Lonnie would kick the chain when we was racing, it would yank and, you know, bind up right here, and it would yank on the engine, and it ended up bending, because this isn't super thick steel right here. So we end up adding the pegs back here, because they used to be up here as well. They actually used to come in right there. You can kind of see the metal from where we weld them up and grind them smooth. So we end up adding this. We welded these on, and also welded these gussets, because just these alone will end up bending if you're trail riding pretty hard and smack a rock or something. So what we're coming out with in the next couple months is we're coming out with a full replacement for this. It already has our bushings in it. It already has the rear pegs, and it also has the gusseted pegs. So it's going to be much better. And another thing is, when you bend this, your belt won't fit correctly. So your belt will be super tight, and that's what we kept running into with this. So we end up elongating the holes, which is such a pain to do, and where we could slide the engine back to make our belt fit better. Because of this bending up, it was making the engine further away, the 2 points further away from each other. And then because that chain was kicking, we not only bent that, but we cracked our neck tube, and it was almost broke completely in half. And when we was in Texas, someone did break their neck tube completely in half because of this problem. So what we did was took a 1/8 inch thick walled piece of 1.5 inch tubing. We cut it in half, and we encapsulated this backside and welded it all the way up it to stiffen up this neck tube. So now we have a super strong bike. But unfortunately, I should have replaced this instead of just welding this one up, because it's still humped up. But we're going to get a new bike, and we're going to do a full build to show you how to make the ultimate store-bought mini bike. And then we're going to build our own frame from scratch and build something that'll dethrone this MB200. All right guys, thanks for watching today's video. I know there's a ton of talking, and it's kind of a more laid back, boring video, but some people like the maintenance to see what kind of damages you can really expect riding these bikes very hard. Now we did the math. We talked to one guy who had an hour meter on one vehicle, and then he had an hour gauge on one vehicle and then mileage on another. On one, and he rode with us every single ride. On his Ace, Polaris Ace, he drove 56 miles. Then on his big vehicle, his Centipede, he drove 11 hours. He had the engine run 11 hours at the meetup. So that means between his two vehicles, he had 11 hours on one, 56 miles on another. So we're calculating bare minimum. We did 150 miles on this off-road trip, and the mini bike's seen a good 80% of that because they was getting rode almost every single trip. So that's what you can expect out of some very hard, rough riding. You got to think there's a lot of mud, a lot of water. That's going to give a lot of wear. The first thing you should do when you get home is wash the bikes, wash all the shocks and everything. Make sure to clean that up. But my bike turned out pretty good. Lonnie's took a lot of beating. So, of course, I've stripped it down. I've got everything ordered for his other than the gas tank. I need to get that on order. We're going to build these bikes back stronger and better than ever and with more horsepower because Lonnie's billet head is going on a new engine with a new build. We're going to be dynoing it and make some crazy power. So we're getting these bikes ready, and we're going to go up to Wildcat in Kentucky for a day trip. We'll put that out whenever we do it. So if anybody wants to come ride with us, they can, but it's only going to be a day trip in a month or so. So let us know if you like these type videos, because if a lot of people don't, then we won't waste our time. We'll just maintenance them after the next trip. But I think it's interesting to see how they held up, what broke, and what you guys can expect riding them in these conditions. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out the links for all these parts that both these builds have on them, and we appreciate all your support and everybody that came out to the meetup and all the companies that supported us. Like I said, we gave away like $3,000 worth of stuff there, so it was really awesome to be able to give back to you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we got a video coming out Thursday, and then every Sunday for the next 5 or 6 weeks we're going to have ride videos coming out from the meetup. I'm just throwing those out on Sunday because a lot of people don't watch the ride videos, so whoever wants to watch them can hang out on a Sunday and watch them. So we love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.